Reading out aloud today some older reviews from the old Doctor Who ratings guide, the DWRG, on this particular serial, The Curse of Peladon. First, from James Manson on the 4th of the 2nd, 98. A primitive planet caught in a struggle between tradition and progress is saved from disaster by the Doctor. Reduced to its plotline, The Curse of Peladon does not sound too exciting, but it is in the details that the story really shines. The inside of the royal palace is well realised, and the torchlit rooms are splendidly atmospheric. Indeed, such historical settings are something for which the BBC is a real flair. The costumes of the Peladonians are not bad, while the distinctive hair colourings are a nice touch. Yeah, I'm just going to say, this is a kind of serial which may have appeared better and more atmospheric and moody in VHS quality rather than in DVD or HD. I'm just throwing that out there. This review is from 98. The Doctor and Jo make a fine team pretending to be the Earth delegation. The plot device is not new. Compare, for instance, the Doctor posing as an inspector in The Power of the Daleks, but it does make the willingness of the others to accept the Doctor's advice easier to swallow than in other stories, where the locals move from total hostility, typically threatening the Doctor with execution, to absolute trust with surprising speed. The Peladonians themselves are the least successful part of the story. The king himself is an utter wimp, and how Jo could even think of falling for him is beyond me. His treacherous but well-meaning advisor is better. In contrast to some villains, his motivation is quite plausible. The problem is that as a character he is quite boring. The king's champion is unspeakably bad, while the rest of the Peladonians are a pretty faceless bunch. The best part of the story is the Federation delegation. Supposedly more civilized than the Peladonians, their willingness to threaten their hosts of annihilation if they are harmed reminds us that even the most civilized societies can behave in a savage fashion. The Ice Warriors are splendid. While there is still evidence of their militaristic past, we get to see a more constructive side to their nature. The alien on the life support machine is quite disgusting and makes a memorable villain, while the distinctly phallic Alpha Centauri ambassador is the real reason everyone remembers this story. Quite the funniest monster in Doctor Who, and there is plenty of competition. The hermaphrodite hexapod, with a squeaky voice and cowardly disposition, easily steals the show. Now, A Merry Menagerie by Christopher Fair on the 16th of the 1st, 99. The third Doctor's second foray away from Earth is a very successful one. This story remains one of the most popular adventures of John Pertwee's Doctor. Perhaps the best thing about this story is that it features, typically for writer Brian Hayles, great attention to characterization in every character. David Troughton and Geoffrey Toon play King Peladon and High Priest Hepesh very well, giving their relationship a greater deal of depth than we have come to expect from the series. Likewise, each of the Federation delegates have their own personality, which lifts this story above the Web Planet, a story which also featured many different types of non-humanoid life forms. In that case, however, the Zabi and Larvae guns were completely bereft of dialogue and came across terribly. Not so in The Curse of Peladon. From the nervous Alpha Centauri to the duplicitous Arcturus, to the practical nobility of Islir and Sorg, the delegates are a memorable group of characters. The Doctor's initial mistrust of the Ice Warriors is well handled too, and a nice plot twist. Speaking of the regulars, both John Pertwee and Katie Manning do well here. Though Jo's romance of Peladon is very forced indeed, her attempts at regal tones and spirited arguments with the other delegates show us why Jo was such a good character. Likewise, John Pertwee's Doctor is totally in control of the situation here. He knows all the angles, and his humanitarian streak of his Doctor comes through strongly once more. The other highlight of the production is Lennie Mayne's direction, ably assisted by the other technical personnel. Peladon is very well brought to life with atmospheric flaming torches and darkened caves. The filming on the mountainside is also well achieved. The Curse of Peladon ranks as one of the best adventures of the Third Doctor after 1970, and a classic example of what can be achieved on a small budget with just a few main cast members. Now one more from Daniel Spellner on the 13th of the 4th, 2000. Full of John Pertwee's interplanetary excursions, this visit to Peladon was the best. The planet Peladon is backward. The king is aware of the need to progress and renovate. By joining the Galactic Federation, similar to the United Nations, he hopes they will show guidance and backing in the modernization. In order to assess the planet's suitability for entry, delegates are sent, but there are those on Peladon opposed to the king's plan. The skillful plotting ensures your interest is held, and by populating the story with a selection of plausible characters with agendas of their own, further deepen the intrigue and mystery inherent in Hale's magnificent script. Mention in particular must go to the Ice Warriors, being amongst the most fascinating and intelligent alien races to feature in Doctor Who. Indeed, Alan Benion's discerning Isler is brilliant. Also watch out for the thrilling fight between the Doctor and Grun, and the late Lennie Mayne managed to stage the whole production with an enchanting ambience. This absorbing, shrewd story is impeccable. We'll close it here. Thanks everyone. Tune in next time if you're so inclined.